This week, as always, I read and watch everything that comes in about tennis. Online, video articles by guys and girls all over the world, things you can read in the magazines. I look at it all. And I got to tell you, before we get started tonight on the high forehand, I've come to the conclusion that there's really four kinds of tennis education or instruction or whatever you want to call what people are trying to do out there to help other players like yourself. And I've come to the conclusion that there's really just four types of instructors out there. There's well, of course, you all know the drill sergeants slash babysitters, right? You go to the clinic and they hustle you and they write you, or if your child is in the clinic, oh, we love Teddy. He's really great. We've got to see him play so we can analyze him, and all this nonsense. And we'll see if we'll let you in the program. That's how they start, and then of course, after that, it's they hound you all the time. Is he coming this week? We need him. We love him. Everybody likes him, and so that's the first type, is the on-court, like I said, drill sergeant slash babysitter. Because sometimes they're just hard asses, right? They just work you to death and they put the onus on you, and there's a lot of, all the responsibilities on the player, and they just work you to death. And other times they're just babysitters. That's number one. Number two, you've got your 4.0 web instructors. Now these are the guys that never played really, they never played college, they never played juniors, and if they did, they had a shoddy, kind of a flimsy career, but they see an opportunity to make money. So these 4.0 players are telling you that they can turn you into a 5.0 player, which is always comical to me. I always sort of attribute that to surfing, I'm a surfer, and you can tell people, surfing's all about balance and it's a great feeling out there in the water, but unless you actually surf, you really don't know how it feels, and you don't know what it's like unless you're actually doing it. And I feel the same way about tennis. I mean, the old adage is teachers can't play and players can't teach, but certainly you should have played some tennis and some college and some maybe pro tennis if you want an idea of what it's like to be out there under pressure. Or else you're telling people, hey, I'll just hit this shot this way because that's how I see the other players do it. But they don't know, because what they see is not exactly what you get. That's what we talk about here at the Real Spin. It's sort of what you don't see is what's really happening at the top levels of the game. And that's what I try to explain to you guys, is it's what you don't see that counts. So those are your 4.0 web instructors. Then you got your peddlers, right? You got the tennis peddlers. They don't even take they don't even have their own conviction of their own methods or their tips and drills. All they do is say, oh, take a look at the Bryan brothers doubles strategy, or Martina Navratilova's doubles at 60 or something. And they're just peddling other people's properties, which is, okay. But as I told you a couple weeks ago on the strategy evening we had, if you know where to go in doubles, that's great. If you can't execute, it's still pretty ugly, and you're not going to have much satisfaction. You might go to the right spot in the court and do everything right, but you don't have Martina or Bob Bryant's volley. So ugly is still ugly, okay? You just maybe, you have a little better strategy and you move a little better on the court. When someone lobs your opponent, you learn to switch. But like I said, strategy cannot cure ugly. And then finally, there's the dumb jock. As I said a minute ago, players can't teach. In general, most of the great players, which I was not a great player. I played college a little. I did get All-American, and I was ranked in New England and represented New England in the juniors, in the nationals, Kalamazoo, and the hard courts and the clay courts. But I cannot say I was what I wanted to be, and I even played some pros. I lost to Sampras, I lost to Luke Jensen. I lost, like my dad used to say, if you haven't beaten my son, then you haven't played much tennis. So I've been there, okay? I've been there and I've knocked on the door, but I've never really gone through it. So I was always trying to be a better and better player. That's been my goal. And now, as I hit 60, I'm really perfecting my left-handed game. So I'm using the method that I'm teaching you with, this infinity tennis system, to teach myself to play left-handed. Everything from the serve to the volleys, and just play a full game. And it's going well. I'll show you some videos soon. I'm playing a good game. Some people can't even tell when I switch, when I'm doing a lesson with my students. So that's the thing I wanted to go into before we start with the high forehand tonight. So beware of these 4 types of pros out there, and they're easy to spot. I mean, certainly the peddlers and the 4.0 guys and the dumb jocks, they're all easy to spot. And I don't think they help much. That's what people have been trying to do for years now. And I get nothing but complaints, oh, I've tried this and it's not helping me, and I've tried this tip and it's not helping. So what we give you helps. I know that because I'm getting a lot of nice emails in the last few weeks from a lot of you guys out there on the one-handed backhand and other strokes we've covered.